another edition of Connecting the Dots on National Broadcaster DBS Radio. We are an outside broadcast. We were at the Muslim store, Universal Elegance Muslim store. And we are happy, of course, to be on with you this morning. Welcome to Connecting the Dots. On Monday, we will welcome December. It's the last Saturday in the month, of course, the last Saturday in the month of November. Very soon, we'll be saying goodbye to the year. Take a seat. We have lots of space, so choose your spot underneath the flamboyant tree. It is a lovely, lovely Saturday today. The morning chill is not easy, especially when the rain starts. But many of you may be happy that this chalet we felt recently, even in the mornings, has left us for a little while. We'll be back. Some people still feel the heat. So welcome to Connecting the Dots on National Broadcaster DBS Radio. A lot of things happening as I speak. Just imagine us sitting under a tree. You feel the vibes. You enjoy the beauty of Dominica. So close your eyes and just enjoy the ambience. Hey, look, I almost forget Nigel. Nigel, when you come in, please bring Alicia Griffith with you. Take her with you, Alvin as well, and Miguel Murphy. Let me see if Nigel is there. Nigel.
Hey, what's up? Morning.
Nigel, everything is happening this morning, but we are
Everything
on.
is happening this morning.
It is a pleasure to be on.
It is. And I'm sure you have lovely weather. It's coming towards that time of the season, right?
Mm-hmm, definitely.
So you should be having some nice weather, not too hot, not too cold, just right.
Just right.
All right.
So, Nigel, what an interesting week, eh?
Good. How was the week? How was everything?
I was just saying, a very interesting week, Nigel. And apart from the official launch of Mass Dominic yesterday, so the official launch of Carnival yesterday, you see Thursday, Nigel, and the general elections in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, I wasn't ready for that. Now social media has allowed us to see live action wherever and whenever. So this has really transformed how we, experience live events. But Nigel Moy Party Pawi.
No, he wasn't ready for that one. What other thing saying I wasn't ready? I think somebody said he
for
wasn't
the
ready.
Results.
No. Yes.
Yeah.
Not many, well, I shouldn't say not many, but I know quite a few people were not ready for that.
Yes, Nigel.
It came like something from somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. I was like, what? That's true. No, that's right. That's correct.
Yes. I remember I was at Thanksgiving dinner, and then I remember somebody at the house saying, "Well, hey, guess what happened?" I'm like, "What happened?" They say, "He lose." I say, "What do you mean he lose?" And then they say, "Not just he lose, he had a serious beating."
Yeah. Yes. Wow. Nigel.
I had to double check to make sure, it's one of the things where you, based on everything else, you expect the individual to keep going, and if not keep going, but definitely to, to be in the winning column, and if beaten maybe by one or two, but to get that kind of beating, So it was one of those, but I certainly hope, one of the hopes that I have is that the legacy of Dr. Gonzalez is not going to be defined by that moment. That we don't remember him at that particular loss, but we remember him not in terms of politics, of course, and what he's done. Remember him in terms of how many years ago, 10, 15, 20 years ago, when it wasn't very popular to stand up for Caribbean identity and for making sure our region was well known, that he was one of the lone voices, along with one or two others, that stood up for Caribbean unity and stood up for Caribbean pride, and to allow us to know that we in the region are small, but we're strong.
Yes,
so,
Nigel.
I hope we remember his tenure as someone who really
Yes.
stood out among the
Yes.
Caribbean voices,
Yeah,
man.
well known as a prominent orator, I really admired him for his ability to craft and as well to deliver, powerful speeches. And
Yes,
it's
yes.
a fact that
And
his
on many,
oratory, yeah, it's a fact that his
yeah,
oratory
I mean, on many
skills.
occasions he had to do that. So,
And I was saying that it's a fact that his oratory skills were significant parts of his legacy.
it
And
was, it was, it was,
he
it
has been
was.
an advocate for.
And those who students of history, hopefully, and those who are not, can go back and to listen to some of those speeches that he had to give at some crucial moments in our history.
Yes,
and how he was able to enunciate and put forward our point of view on the world stage.
Yes. I mean, he has been an advocate for a lot, reparations on slavery, comes to the fore. But it's Dr. Friday now on the new Democratic Party.
Yes, it's a new turn. It's a new turn for the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So we wish them all the best. We congratulate the incoming Prime Minister, Dr. Godwin Friday and his team. And I'm sure the rest of the Caribbean look forward to continued, collaboration with them. And
what
to
a
see
name
what
to
this
have,
new team has to offer.
What a name, Godwin Friday.
Yes, Godwin Friday.
Yes.
I mean, he has everything going for him.
Anyway, Nigel, quickly before we bring on our guest, have you started soaking the fruits for the CCD cake?
Well,
Mercy. You remember my role this year is to eat the cake, so I will not be helping in preparations. Yes, Mamuti.
Yes. But we will begin the process. Let's
begin the
process.
Okay, so we have people on the book already. Anybody on? Did they realize that we
well, let me see, because I hadn't logged on earlier because I was watching the YouTube one.
When people are accustomed to something, so obviously we started at 9:30 today. So probably they say, you pala, don't show the
They probably say, you pala, take a vacation. You shoot that.
But
but of course, yes, we are here. We just had a different start time. We had other things to do. We had to connect to other places.
Yes.
So good morning to you on the YouTube.
I think Sandra
channel.
Norris is on already. Sandra Norris is on. Marvelyn Breedy, Miguel Murphy saying grand rising and good morning to all. Magdalene Bonti Honorary is on as well.
And you see what happens when you're a part-time producer, and then see what happens when you start doing a thing and you leave it.
Yes.
Alvin Thomas, good morning to you. Alvin Thomas tells me there's no
Alvin
connection.
is not on.
There's no connection, and Miguel Murphy on.
Brenda Webster is on. Alvin is not on. Alicia Griffith is not on. So these people definitely have to get detentions. I mean, come on.
Yes. So Alvin, do something to get back on. I don't know why you tell me there's no connection, but good morning to you. Maybe Mark Zuckerberg do you like me this morning? He put you off for a few. But don't worry, reconnect and you'll be okay.
Yes, reconnect.
So good morning to those, like you said, who are already logged on, and go ahead, share the live, and start logging on, we are here, because we have a very interesting guest who's going to tell us a lot.
Yes.
Good morning to you, David Hector, as well, and all my people in New Jersey. Good morning to you, Sandra Norris. Bonjour, my peeps. It's always wonderful to see you both. Always beautiful to see. Well, we can't see you, but we know you're here and logged on as well, Sandra Norris. So good morning to you, Shills Jules.
Yes, Shills.
Good morning to all the CDD family.
Magdalene Williams is on as well. Watching from Guadeloupe, Magdalene Williams.
Guadeloupe. Oh, yes. It's nice to have Guadeloupe. Keep joining and keep talking to us.
Nigel, let's big up Tony as well. Tony Mead always on. Anthony Mead.
Oh, yes. Roberto is always on. So
Sandra Norris is saying no detention for her. So, yeah.
She was on time.
Yes, you'll get a merit, in fact. So, yeah. Nigel, take for the Dominica corner. Look, Alvin Thomas, come on, Nigel. But we get meditation already, right?
Oh, he come on now.
Yes.
He was pressing the wrong button.
I guess.
I can understand that. I mean, SMA students don't do that.
Okay, no, Nigel.
So how could you press the wrong button? By the way, how are plans coming on for the 100 and how many years grammar school? 130?
What, 43? It's coming on from what
133.
I don't know much
and that'll
about.
Be on January when again?
January 16th is Founders Day, but the activity is an
January
activity on
16th
the
is Founders
17th.
Day.
I would never ask you that about SME like
you
that.
have plans coming for that, right?
Yes.
You guys are
Nigel, let me
putting
just
something
big you
together.
up because I would never ask you about SME like that. So it takes me early in the program like that.
See, that's what SME students do. You see, we try to encourage others. We lead and then we allow the others to.
Mind me. Nigel, let's go to the Dominica corner and bring on our guest. My turn, man.
Your turn. And don't come for when you see her in town, okay? It's her turn.
Our guest is well known as the sign man. But what phrase helps bring about greater attention to his business, or helped in the past, and it continues to, of course. I just want to put it in proper context. So there's a phrase that really brought about greater attention to his business, apart from he being known as the sign man.
A sign without a business. Continue now.
See that you would not answer the question, right? But you're on the right track.
I'm on the right track.
I don't like that, Nigel. Seriously. I mean, you can struggle for the second question or the third question, but the first question, come on,
the first one.
A business on the side is a sign of no business. That's not right.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Next one. What does the word, the Creole word, duivaillez mean in English, obviously? Duivaillez. Define that for me.
Duivaillez, that's a word made duive. I tell you the same thing with duive. Duivaillez means duive. Same thing.
So if you want me a duive, you say duivaillez.
You like to go on a line, man. You know, you like to lime a lot. You like to move around. You like to, yes.
Mm-hmm. You could say hiking as well. If you put in the context
hiking.
Of what Sideman is
doing. Yes, you can put it in that context. Yes. You like to hike. You like to move. You like to lime. You like to explore,
Mm-hmm. You like to explore. Nice.
Yes.
Sir.
Yes.
Next question. You Signman, and listen carefully, because you have an A, B, C, D. Signman is a proponent for A, rap music, B, rock steady, C, booyah music, D, kadas music. Signman is a proponent for what? For which genre?
Well, you know what? Signman looking like a man that would love to do rock steady, but he doesn't know, no rock steady for him. So Signman is gonna go to Guadeloupe. He's gonna go to where they have a festival in Berlin, Germany. Wherever they have kadas, he's gonna go. So I'm gonna say, because he put up some billboards, and I know he's gonna talk about that and everything else. So he's a proponent for kadas music.
Yes, sir.
But slowly coming along with booyah, but
that's
he loves his kadas.
But why did I also put rock steady by side, man?
I'm trying to understand.
Nah, man. Man. Can't do that to side, man, when I put a come on,
put
man.
A reggae in the feed, they put rock steady.
Imagine you be, man. What did I say? Anyway, next question. Two more. Sideman recently received what award? There's an award that he recently received. He has received quite a few awards, but there's a very, big award that he received recently.
Yes, and if I know him well, he probably wanted to design it and create his own sign for it. But yes, congratulations. He received the Meritorious Service Award. So he's now a squire like some other people. So
we have to say Ibrahim, Signman.
Ibrahim, Brohim, Signman, Esquire. Or Ibrahim, Signman,
everything.
Esquire. Not sure how you want to put it. But yes, recently received a Meritorious Service Award for his contribution.
Yes. So Duivaillez has reached Meritorious Service Award status.
Yes.
That's it.
And didn't he get another award like a week ago or something? From
Simon has received quite a few awards, and he'll tell us.
Did they honor him? BPW or somebody,
Yes. Okay. And he has he received more awards, so we'll talk about that. Last question. But if you can ask that question,
make it easy.
No, I still think I should not ask that question. Anytime I ask that question, people are going to start to laugh and say, "But I would have yourself, you're not easy." Signman, we bought you. Which high school Signman went to? Yes, I would.
No, let's see if we should answer that question. let me say good morning to all the SME students.
Yeah. Go ahead.
It's good to it's good.
Yes.
It's good to
go
know
ahead.
that SMA is always represented. We appreciate you. Don't forget the roof project is still on. So good morning to all the SMA students, and it's nice to know that the sign man went to SMA. So representing the SMA as well. I'm sure he will tell us about that in his journey. So SMA continues to. Or should I continue?
Go ahead.
He went to SMA. He went to SMA.
You want to say more?
So he went to SMA.
He'll give us a sign for SMA. Apart from
yes,
the smartest men alive,
he'll create a sign for SMA.
So yes, it's time to bring him on, Nigel.
Well, we should.
So Ibrahim
should say good morning and bring him on.
Sign man Brohim is he's a lot more than just the sign man. He is a Dominican to the bone, and you'll understand why when you listen to his story. Very, very friendly guy, always willing to assist, and he takes pride in exploring Dominica. Nigel, I think you should continue where I left off. You know a lot about Signman yourself.
Oh yes, and he's made his contribution not just in science. We'll find out from that in a little while, but he's made his contribution in the field of sports as well. Being one of our top referees for quite a while, and music as well. So it spans across a number of decades, and we'll find out about his journey. But definitely, Ibrahim Brohim is known for his contribution and his love for country and community. So we'll find out about that journey, where it all started, and why he decided to get into this, and how he started up the business and everything else, and how he ended up being called the sign man. We'll find out all about that. Good morning to you, Mr. Brohim. How are you doing? Where is he? Is he there?
Of course he's there.
Is he still walking into the studio? I don't think so. He's probably making a sign. So
no boy, sign man, they're early. One thing is sign man, when it comes to time, what?
Yes. That's one thing with him. Always good morning to you, Mr. Brohim.
Good morning.
How you doing, sir?
Good morning, Nigel, and good morning, Ivona. Good morning to the listeners of DBS Radio. A pleasure being here with you guys.
All right, it's a pleasure
and
to have you.
And hopefully sharing a few words, Yeah.
Don't mention the S, the M, and the E. You can leave that out. Say today there.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Let's get rocking.
Yes. But Simon is really in fact, we have had to have Simon on long time, my bad, to a certain extent.
I think so.
But then again, Saturday as well, is a day when Simon is always out, always out duiving.
Always out duiving.
Yes, always makes time to explore, Dominica in all its glory, in all its beauty. But we have him on today, and I'm very, very happy. We don't have that much time today, Nigel. You see that, And Nigel, Simon has a long story there,
Wow.
But anyway,
he has a long story. We'll try to cover as much as we can within the hour plus that we have.
Yes, definitely. So Nigel, keep talking. Let me see if I can take care of some matters there in the meantime.
Okay, all right. Handle that as we find out about Ibrahim Brohim and so on. So the sign man, before we get to how you're being called the sign man, we always like to find a little bit about our guests and, take it back from early years and so on, So in terms of the whilst everyone is setting you up over there in the studio nicely, so we'll keep talking. Let me say grand rising to all those who are locked on. Alvin Thomas, we appreciate you. Carl Kofi James, man, good morning to you. Bless up as well. And Sandra Norris, we said good morning. Marvelyn Brady, we said good morning to you earlier as well. Appreciate it. And then, of course, Jacqueline Seja, good morning to you from St. Martin. Thanks for logging on. Alicia Griffith, you're back. Okay, so you had a few things to take care of. We won't give you any demerits because you're a very good student. You're always on very early. So good morning to you as well. Hopefully, Brohim is now set up and everything is good for him. So we can continue chit-chatting with him. Of course, you join us every Saturday. This is Connecting the Dots on DBS Radio. Ivona John Baptist Lugay and myself, Nigel Francis. We host this program. We've been hosting it for the last 5 years every Saturday as we try to connect our Dominicans throughout the world and try to let others know what is it that's going on and how they've been contributing towards community, towards family, towards country, and to ensure that the name of Dominica is represented in a positive way. So we appreciate all of you who continue to connect and who's become part of the family. Yes, we're going to have a big virtual, physical, all things you can think of, a big Christmas party that we're gonna have for all our CTD family. They're gonna be part of that. So I think he's now set up and everything is good for him now. So let's find out your journey, sir. We like to ask everybody, what part of Dominica are you originally from?
Well, in my early days in being in Dominica, I grew up in Hillsborough Street in Roseau. If you know where the new Lotto office building is, yeah, when that building was there in the old days, that's where we lived. I lived with my parents, and then we moved across some years later down to Jewel Street, that's opposite the Wesley High School, and then to our permanent residence at Diddle Lane Goodwill. So I'm basically at Lower Goodwill.
All right.
So you started in the heart of town.
I started in the heart of town, yes, definitely.
Kind of. Yes, definitely. What was it like, though? I mean, Brohim, although, we're trying to squeeze as much as we can. What was it like, in those early years for you?
Well, like anything else, parents, I was not the kind of person that was moving around a lot, our family, because, our parents were, I don't want to use the word strict, but, they were very, very serious with us. Very strict, very disciplined. And, we grew up in a family where, as young people, we didn't really get to move around like the average typical Dominican family, And so the early days growing up was, I would say, very disciplined.
Yes, so it wasn't one of those where you was like cowards, like some people we know, you had to make sure that you were at home doing the things you had to do,
yes,
school,
definitely.
home, and so on. Yes.
I couldn't say I ran the streets. I used to, play around with my friends and them. I just used the word the cowards. No, I was not that in the early days, no. Maybe in the older days, yes.
You became a coward later on. Oh,
yes, did.
You did the reverse.
Yeah, definitely.
Looking back at those days, though, although you say it was strict and disciplined and so on, do you find yourself appreciating the fact that, your parents had that kind of strict discipline approach?
Oh, yeah.
When you look back at it now.
Yeah, no, definitely. You have to think of it back then, because things I go through in my life right now, the disciplinary part of it, the timeliness, being on time, being where you have to be at the time you're supposed to be, growing up. You couldn't really waste time back then, so I grew up in an era where time was important, discipline was important, and it reflects on my life today, definitely.
Interesting. Hillsborough Street, that's where you started, you say, right?
Yes,
where
Hillsborough Street, yes.
The Lotto office is right now.
Opposite, if you know where Raymond Lawrence used to live.
Yes. But
right,
you're right in that Lagos Square there.
Lagos Square, yes, yeah.
Nice.
Right in
you're
that square.
in the heart of the city, so a lot was happening there. So I guess you can relate. You could just give us an idea as to how busy that area was. So try to bring in some of the characters, if you remember. You were close to the WAWU office as well, so a lot was happening there around that time. What in terms of your memory, what comes to mind when you think about this square?
Well, I would consider myself, I was troublesome when I was young. Not a coward, like Nigel said, but I was troublesome because I remember clearly where we used to live, in the evenings, you had those persons preaching religion with their little bullseye, their little lamp and everything, And every night they used to come down underneath our veranda. And sometimes it prevents you from sleeping, prevents you from relaxing and so. So as a little boy, what I used to do was, up to the other day I mentioned that to a friend, there was a little hole in the veranda. The veranda was wooden. So I used to take small items and just throw at them when I was small,
You used to throw items?
To chase them away.
Nigel, oi! What?
And then, I didn't say it prevented them, but
yeah,
it stopped them, sometimes, coming around,
And that was very common back in the day, Nigel, you remember? That was very, very common back in the day.
Oh, that was extremely common. Yes.
You would see that in every area, every space, every square. You would see people just gathering for the evening. and singing praises and praying, and and some people will get baptized, just in a matter of a week just by attending those. So that was very, very interesting. That really shaped life in the city as well.
And another thing, a very troublesome thing I did once. I wouldn't say I nearly burned down the house.
But Simon, you bad man. You were bad.
The house had an attic, right?
Yeah.
Upstairs. So as a young boy, 5, 6, 7 years old, I went up in the attic one afternoon, and I started taking a little box of matches, and cracking it among old pieces of rags. And before I knew it, flames start coming up, and I couldn't get back down because there was no way to get back down to the steps. And my cousin, God rest his soul, Antoine Rafoul, he was around, and he ran upstairs, pulled me out, but we could not come back down the steps, so we had to, the houses next door were very close. And so we jumped across on the roof of the next house.
What? But apart from the fear, though, man, were you screaming? Were you shouting for help?
No, nothing at all. It was like any other little thing to me, no big thing.
Not
I wasn't
realizing
afraid.
the danger that.
But I realized that it was dangerous, And then the fire brigade came, the fire came,
wow, yeah.
and
What?
it didn't turn out to be nothing bad, just a little, flames coming up.
Did you get a beating?
I don't recall that. No, I don't think I can't. I won't lie. I can't recall that. But I know I was disciplined by my parents. Yeah. And up to the other day, I was talking to Raymond Lawrence about that, and they have clear memories of that.
Oh.
Very clear memories because we were like a family around the area.
Playing with fire.
Yes.
And throwing objects on the people who were preaching.
Definitely. These are the two things that really resonate, in my time in that area.
So, but would you go to the river, maybe go the Windsor Park or those places there?
That started happening in the later years of my life as I grew, as I became an adult, and starting going to go to school, and then we made friends, and then what we used to do, like every Saturday, we had, Nigel would probably know that, Ivona, we used to have bell marches, and then sometimes we would just walk from town and decide we're going to go up to the river, wherever we find a river, and take a nice long walk, enjoy ourselves, spend the day by the river. The stadium, Windsor Park, no, I never went there as a young boy. I wouldn't say I wasn't allowed, but I didn't get the opportunity to leave home like the typical young person in a family.
Okay. Take us back as well to
Go
ahead, Nigel.
Before you take us back, do you know someone named Kaula?
Kaula?
Yes.
That's my sister in Atlanta.
Okay. I just want to let you know she's listening and looking at you in Atlanta. And I hope she's going to tell me about that. Was she there when you were lighting the fire at the time?
Yeah, they were all there. All there.
All right.
Yeah,
so,
she can share
Paula,
something.
I hope you let him know what happened, at that time. But yes, I
was saying, I just want to stay in that square a little because I know that area was very, very vibrant. So give us a sense of what was happening in Carnival time, if you remember, when May Day as well came. As I said, some of the characters, if you can remember some of them.
No, characters not
like Ugly Willie.
Well, I mean, persons like Ugly Willie, Harold, all these guys. Yeah, I clearly remember them. We used to really see them around and really amazed at how this gentleman, went through their life. I mean, to see someone as a young boy, you see someone can only get food from going into a rubbish bin and those kind of things, And then it's amazing because, I mean, it told you that no matter what struggles that you yourself went through as a young person, and to see that person going through that, you are much better off. You have no reason to complain at all. And our parents always, especially my mom, always said that, that we have to be happy with what we get, as young people growing up. I had some good friends. I mean, there's one good friend I can mention. I don't know if you guys would know that name. Charlie. Tall Charlie.
Tall Charlie, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I mean, every time we meet, every time he meets me, he always brings up, you know, what used to go on in the area.
That's a historian, you know.
Yeah, so he's a
Yes,
very
yes.
he's a old friend, a good friend in the area.
Yeah, man. I
Very
met
good
Charlie
friend,
this
very
week.
good
I met
friend of mine.
Charlie.
Charlie stops me anytime I'm in
Yes.
Dominica. He has to stop me to
Yes.
remind me of some of the historical facts.
Yes, and I
and
met
some
him
of the things
again.
we don't mention.
I met him again this week, you know, and he was telling me about where my family comes from as well, you know, and you know that area. So
Yeah.
yeah, big up to the man Charlie. We'll have to bring Charlie on, you know, Nigel. Charlie
We'll
has a
bring Charlie
lot,
on.
you
We'll
know,
bring
in terms
Charlie
of
on. Charlie has a
history.
story to tell.
Yeah, man, he has a
Charlie
story to tell as well.
has a very interesting story to tell as well. We'll definitely have Charlie on, you know.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
So Nigel, where do we go to next? We sign.
Well,
man.
I mean, with the time that we have, we know that, of course, he went to, you know, I mean, to what primary school? What primary school did he go to?
Convent prep.
Okay.
Convent
I
prep.
attended
He went to
Convent
prep, and then
from there I went across to St.
from
Mary's
prep,
Academy.
you moved on to.
He said it already. He said it already. You
No,
gotta
I
move
didn't,
on.
I didn't hear that part. I didn't
He
hear
said
that
it.
part.
He said where you move on to
Oh,
Nigel.
you said where you moved on
Yes,
to.
he
Okay,
said
all
it.
right.
He said St.
Okay,
Mary's
all right.
Academy.
Nigel is pretending
Oh.
like, you know,
Nigel,
okay, so
you
you
knew
moved on.
Nigel long ago. Was he troublesome by the way? You said you all would go up to the. Was Nigel just a quiet boy? And
Very quiet boy.
what do you remember, Nigel? About Nigel?
not so, I mean, faint memories, but not as troublesome as probably I thought I was myself. Cool guy, you know, good friend to be around with,
And then he got a beta.
and he got
And you leave
coward.
it like that. Right.
He said you got coward, Nigel.
So at SME,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, the discipline continued at SME in terms
Oh, yeah,
of,
most
you know, I mean, the
definitely at
brothers and the
SME.
sisters and everything else, right?
Yeah, you know, I mean, SMA put, I mean, especially under Brother Jermaine. I mean, he was a disciplinarian. I mean, we couldn't get away with stuff, you know. We couldn't misbehave. If we do anything just off track, whether he's in sports, whether he's in class, he was there. And you rest assured, even when you're in class, you see him patrolling the veranda, you know, next to the classrooms. So you have to be at your best behavior, because if you're troublesome, he pulls you out one time and straight to his office.
What were some of the things you were involved in when you were in SME? Were you involved in sports? Were you involved in, did you start getting into music? What are some of the things you were doing there?
Well, I wasn't a sports person per se. I more played sports, you know, as fun, for fun and everything. I didn't take part in, to look forward to making the school team or whatever. I played house sports. You know, I played, you know, football, I played cricket as fun. For me, it was fun. It was never a competitive issue to try to make it, you know. I was also part of, at SMA, you know, they had a little canteen where, you know, at breakfast time, at break time, you know, the students rush out to buy their bread rolls with butter in it, and I was inside there working, cutting the bread and pasting butter and sell and assisting in all the whatever way possible. You know, so
What house were you in? What house were you in?
George's.
You were in George's. Okay, all right.
I was in George's.
Ivona, what house were you in?
In BJ. Benedict Joseph, BJ Red.
BG, Benedict
Yes.
Joseph, BG. Yes.
We
of
were not
course,
too high up on
I
the.
wasn't.
We were not too high
I
up on
wasn't seen
things, Nigel. You know, at that time, but BJ all the way.
Boy, BJ used to get a lot of blues.
Mind me, BJ all the way. But Simon, did you also take part in things like Belle Marché? Because I'm asking that, I want to tie it in with one of your present day passions.
Yeah, we did, because especially when they had, let's say at school, right? They had when you take the long walk, the country competition, you know?
The cross
Yes, the
country.
Cross country, yes, yeah. I used to take part because I enjoy being outside there. For me, it was a time to go out and just free up yourself, you know? I didn't bother about wanting to win, coming out first, second. If I come out last kakarot, I don't care. But I just know that I was outside there, freeing up. You know, so
You enjoy the beauty of Dominica, see things that you're. Yeah.
I enjoyed it a lot, you know, and it gave me the opportunity to just free up myself on, you know, being outside there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, Brohim, I'm going to ask you this, you know, because we like to get the whole story of everybody else. There are those might be saying Ibrahim Brohim is Dominican, and I can't son it from Dominica, you know. So in terms of your family, for those who probably don't know, give us a little connection with the family in terms of the Brohims, you know, the Raffles. What's the connection, and what's the originality and all that sort of good stuff?
Okay. Okay. Well, first of all, we're from Lebanon. My family was from Lebanon. I was born in Lebanon myself, except my last brother who came down, who was here
Okay.
in
So he was
Dominica.
born in
He was born in Dominica.
Okay.
The Raffles and the Brohims are related through my dad and their mother, Mrs. Raffle, Nazar Raffle, brothers and sisters.
That
So
close.
that is where the relationship, the connection comes in.
All right, because I know pretty close, and most times, that growing back then, people would just probably put all of you guys together and say it's Raffles or it's Brohims.
Well, they used to say
and
we
not
were
recognizing
Syrians.
There's difference.
They used to
Oh,
call
oh,
us Syrians.
Syrians.
Because they had one or two
Right,
Syrians.
right.
If you remember,
Did you? I mean, in growing up, Brohim, was that like an issue? Did you find like people would probably say Syrians or Dominican? Was that an issue?
I wouldn't say we didn't want to make it an issue, but the same way that you would say, how would I explain to persons that we're all West Indians, right? And sometimes they'll say, but you're from Grenada, you're from Trinidad. But you say, no, I'm a West Indian, yes, but I'm from Dominica. I'm an Arab. I was born in Lebanon, in the Middle East. I'm not a Syrian, I'm a Lebanese. So we try to make sure we differentiate that. Because back home, back in the Middle East, there's that tension with countries, Syria, Iran, Iraq, and those places, Lebanon, Israel, whatever. So that, and other countries. So yeah, you wanted to differentiate yourself to ensure that, hello, I'm not a Syrian. Because also for us, at that time, the Syrians were not doing anything good for our country in Lebanon. So we wanted to make sure that, hello, we're not Syrians, we are Lebanese.
Right. Have you been back?
I was just about to ask that.
Yeah, I've been back about 3-4 times already.
Okay.
I went there when after a long time, I visited there, and I remember my first trip, it was like I had never left there.
Oh, yeah?
Because my cousin over there took me to visit all the places. I speak the language, so I was not lost. I could communicate because I still have family there. We still have family.
And you still speak the language?
I still speak the language. And that is all due to my mom saying from long that we're here in Dominica, we are going to learn English at school. But at home, we speak only the language. And so as a result, we were brought up speaking and learning the language at home. I don't read it, I don't write it, but I can speak it, I can communicate very well because I communicate with my family every twice a month. I call them, we keep in touch.
Nigel, let me hear you.
How do you say,
yes,
how
that's
do you
it,
say
Nigel.
like, hello, good morning, or tell us something?
If I would
Because
tell
Ivona
you,
loves languages like me.
in terms of talking to a male, because there's feminine and masculine, I would say to a male, I would say kifek. Kifek means how are you?
Kifek.
Kifek.
Okay.
And if I'm talking to a lady, I would say kifik.
You know what? I tell you, we are one people, because Saka.
It sounded like I was just about to say that, Saka Fest.
Yeah, man.
So it's not a difficult language, but you really have to know. I mean, I don't speak it like the typical person who grew and raised up there, but I can communicate enough without being lost.
How would you say Saturday? How do you say Saturday?
Saturday is Sabbath.
Okay, interesting.
Sabbath.
Yeah. Almost like a Sabbath. Listen, man, language is a very interesting thing, and growing up, we're asking you those because it's good to know the journey and the story behind it, and especially growing up at a time where you had things like Black Power and African identity, and and people probably saying these people who are Syrians and Lebanese, and so we're tying all that into where you are today.
No, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem.
Yes, and the reason for that too is that you're so Dominican right now. I mean, you stand up so much for Dominica that so we can let people know that, listen, even if you are probably not even born here, but the love for the country continues, and that's what I love about it and love about you for that, So of course, SMA, you went, as the last time I'm going to say, to SMA, you went through SMA. And then from SME, then you transitioned into the world of work, I'm guessing,
yes,
right?
I transitioned into the work. I did not pursue education after that. It was not...
You went into the family business?
Yes, our family business was up where Courts is, opposite Courts. My parents had their store there. So I worked with them. Then afterwards, I picked up some jobs on the outside. Started working on the outside because, I mean, the store couldn't, let's say, do everything for everybody, you know. So
What was that store called, by the way?
the Lebanese store.
Okay.
Yep, the Lebanese store. Very, very, very straightforward.
And that's your court stores right now?
No, it was opposite courts.
Opposite court?
Yeah, opposite
Okay.
courts, yes, yeah. That's where the
Yes.
store
I
was.
gonna remember that store?
Yeah, man.
All right.
Since in the early, you know, over 30, 40 years, you know, long time.
And selling all kind of different things, clothing,
Yeah, you know,
shoes,
cloth
all kind of
material, you know,
household.
pants, shirts, you know, whatever it is, you know. Yeah, general merchandise.
And that's interesting, you know, because family businesses are deeply rooted in Lebanese history, right? From
Yeah,
what I know,
definitely, yes.
you know, there are some places you just see family setting up business, and it's like part of their culture. That is very, very interesting, because if we tie it in with what Signman is doing now, he's he continued business.
Business.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's in
yes,
us.
Yes, yes.
It's in us as
What was it like,
Lebanese
though?
Arabs, you know, to be in business.
Yeah.
Interesting.
What was it like working for you? I mean, you working in the family business. You're out of school now, but you're still working in the business.
Boy,
So it means
Same thing, you know, same strict discipline, you know. You gotta get up, leave home at 8 o'clock in the morning. You can't say, well, okay, I'm working for my parents, so I can come along at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, whatever it is, you know. You have to be there in the store, you know. You have to be there in the shop to help, and not just be there. You have to be physically working and helping, you know, pack things on the shelves, assist customers, everything. You know,
I know you have a sister on the live. How many sisters you have?
I have three sisters and one brother.
Okay. 3 sisters and 1 brother. Interesting. The sign.
Are you the only one in Dominica now, or are there?
No,
are
it's
there
myself and I have another sister who's here.
That was here.
And I have 2, a sister in Trinidad. There's Carla in Atlanta and my brother Tony in Orlando.
Okay. At what point, Signman, did you venture out on your own, go into your own business? And what necessitated that move? What were you telling yourself at that time?
Some years ago when I took up a job at a business place, and they were also doing signage, right? Now, during my spare time when I had nothing doing there, I used to pop into the sign shop where they do, you know, in the area, the department where they do signs and business and different stuff, you know, number plates. And I'm the kind of person, I just don't like sitting down doing nothing. So I used to help out, you know, doing little stuff and doing things. But after about 2 weeks on the job there, I didn't feel comfortable with what was happening overall in the position I held, you know, and what I did. So I quit. Now, there was this young guy who was working in this sign shop there, and he himself, he told me he was planning to leave because he wasn't happy with what was going on. So afterwards I told him, well, look, listen, if you're interested, I think I can see an avenue where we can probably develop open up a business for signs. And if you want, with your expertise, and then I could use my finances, that's where I was strong at, you know, in assisting. And so we could probably start, you know, get together and do something if you're interested. And he showed interest because I remember one day I met this lady. Before I started business, I met her in town, and she didn't realize I had left where I was. And she was asking me, but sir, I mean, so long I'm there waiting for a sign I ordered, you know, and they're taking so long to produce. I said, well, I'm sorry, but I'm no longer there because I quit, I left. She said, so what am I going to do? I said, well, if you have time and patience, just wait, because I have something coming up. And so, you know, the guy came across, and where I am right now, what I did, I started at my parents' building on the middle floor. It was a 3-bedroom apartment. For me to have started off, I took out the small room at the front, which is the kitchen, probably about a little bigger than the size of this studio. And I put the kitchen at the back where there was a bedroom. I took out the bedroom and I put the kitchen in the back because I was still living in the apartment. And then in the small room at the front, I ordered equipment. I got some friends to assist me, ordered equipment and everything. And we started very slowly, small, just doing number plates in the beginning, you know. And from there, slowly we grew. I grew, expanded slowly. And that was like in the year 2000, and I started off in about 2002, 2003. And from there, business started getting serious. I mean, I needed space. I took up another room. Took out the beds and everything. Expanded. And after all, I realized, well, okay, I think I need a whole apartment. And, I would talk to my dad, and I told him exactly what I was doing, And eventually, the whole apartment, I converted it into the business as it is today.
Wow. Nigel, that is interesting. Sometimes you have to hear the story. You really have to hear the story to understand what is happening,
and you can see the discipline
of
what happened when you were a little boy growing up in the family and everything else, and the parents. You could see that paid off.
Definitely.
In getting you there. And then, so I know I want to talk a little bit about the refereeing and everything as well as FIFA refereeing.
But we have a lot to cover, we said, man. We just realized, a lot.
But I know we have also the business side to cover. That was were you scared in the beginning to take that risk, bro, in that you just quit your job and decided, you know what, let's try to get this done on my own?
I was not afraid. Honestly, I was not afraid because I knew what I wanted to do. I knew in the beginning, getting involved in business is always a risk. But then what really assisted me and made my transition easy, my previous job, I used to work at what is now called Auto Trade Limited. I was a sales manager there for the vehicle department. And again, you build a repertoire where customers, you're very good with them, you really give them good customer service. So basically, when I transitioned to start my business and persons on the outside started hearing that, they came in full support. They started coming by me to support, to buy the plates. They said, well, okay, we can't go nowhere else. It's by you, we're going to come. And so, I wouldn't say it was easy in the beginning, but that really made it facilitated that you had persons outside there who were willing to come and support you because of all the good service that, I gave them in my previous jobs. So, and again, the discipline factor of it, your parents telling you, always telling you, well, you have to know, whatever money you make. Because even when I used to work, my mom, I remember, used to always tell me, well, you have to make sure you put money aside. You have to know what you spend, because when it's gone tomorrow, that's it, When you've used it uselessly or you've not spent it properly, that's it. You have to wait another month at the end, for a salary. And so I figured that, and I knew that working for yourself is not easy at all. Because what you spend is what you make. You're not guaranteed, like, let's say, if you're working at a company and you're getting a monthly salary of $2,000, month end, you're guaranteed to get $2,000, no matter what. But you working for yourself, you're not sure if you're going to make $1. You're going to spend because you have to spend money on materials. You have expenditure, you have lights, you have water to pay now, all these things. So it really, it got me disciplined in the fact that I have to really look at my business on a serious level. And if I want it to succeed, I have to manage it much, very good.
At what point did you, or let me just rephrase this, because you have a motto and we want to talk about this. A business without a sign is a sign of no business. Around that time, Felix Henderson, of course, was doing a lot of ads, and he worked a lot with you. How did this come about? This business without a sign is a sign of no business.
Well, that's a very mysterious question, honestly, because I remember it was a group of us friends who got together, and I always told customers also that, but look, you need a sign, because if someone is looking for your business down the road, and let's say someone tells you, let's say Ivona is looking for the sign man, or Nigel has a business down the road and she's looking for his business, but someone just tells her, well, if you go down the road and then you turn left and you turn right and you'll event, but a sign really gives a person a view as to what they're looking for, and that is where the term a business without a sign. and not a sign without a business, as Nigel was saying.
Business without a sign is a sign of no business.
Because the business needs a sign. The sign doesn't need a business. So this came about, we were talking and we were just, reflecting on, well, what can we come up with? What kind of motto we can come up with? And so because of that, myself and one or two friends, we coined that phrase, a business without a sign, letting customers know that it's easier to locate your sign, your business. Somebody's searching for it, looking for it down the road, than if you don't have a sign on it.
And Felix Henderson made this very popular.
Yes. I mean, God rest his soul. I don't want to boast because it's my sign, my ad, but I believe it is one of the greatest ads that he has ever.
He goes to the man, he look for the sign. I'm not sure if you guys, I can remember it.
Ivona,
but that was just something else.
Persons used to walk up to me and recite that ad to me.
I could back
especially when they saw it, he valet. And that bubble gum.
He's on the bubble gum, yes.
I mean, persons used to actually recite that thing in full for me. So I thanked him. I mean, that was not because it's my ad, but I think that is one of the most creative ads. And I still use it whenever I need to use it.
Interesting, Nigel. What is happening these days? We don't want to rush you.
How did you being called a sign man?
Well, it comes from looking for a name for the business. And we really sat down on scratch. I remember, again, I can't remember which was, because again, there's a group of us. And I said, Brohim, let us look at Harris Paints. And what comes to mind when you think of Harris Paints? What is their motto, Nigel? Ivona, think of it.
The little man is that something about the little man?
Right, the little man.
The best to offer something like that.
No, just that phrase.
Harris Paints, man. You remember that little song?
But just the phrase, the little man.
Yes.
Well, just the paint.
The little man.
Yeah.
So, why not the sign man? And that just stuck with me ever since.
Wow.
It just stayed with us there. It just came out very simple. The little man, the sign man. And that is...
When you hit the nail on the head, you see a big impact it can have. It sticks with people, Like some people forget my name and they call me connecting the dots.
Yeah.
That CTD.
Well, people don't know, some persons don't even know my name, When I tell them, well, do you know the sign man business? Oh, that's you.
Yeah.
And I just have to accept, I mean, I may close down business tomorrow, and trust me, I will still be called the sign man.
The sign man. What is happening these days, sign man? We don't want to rush you, but we have to cover so many other areas.
Yeah, we are. Well, what can I say? Business, first of all, business-wise, because this is what carries me through. This is what allows me to do what I have to do today. In not just in sponsoring, but in enjoying my life, taking my little tours, my little trips with my friends, whatever. Business always comes first for me. I've learned that. I've developed that attitude. And first and foremost is my business. I instill that in my staff. Same thing, that we treat our customers to the best of our ability. And we have to ensure that without our customers, we don't have business, we don't have anything at all. And so through business, we're able to give assistance. And as Nigel said, we don't restrict it to only one field, one thing only. To say, because of my involvement in sports, you would think I give a lot to sports only. No. We've assisted sports, culture, education, the health sector, the hospital, communities, associations. I mean,
Simon, you ever had a register? You ever just noted down somewhere all the people that you have helped, all the businesses and all the people?
No, I'll be very honest, I don't, because if I had to really list it, it would take up a whole computer.
And at times it doesn't really happen in the office, because you're always with people, you're always on the move, and you meet people. And
yeah, because I mean, my work as a manager, as an owner, I'm not the person that will sit back on a desk in an office. And actually, Ivona, Nigel, I don't have an office at my workplace. I don't have an office. If customers come to talk to me and I have to have a discussion with a customer, a client or somebody, I have to go to one of my small rooms at the back where I have storage, where I have materials. It's spacious enough, and I apologize to the client and say, look, excuse me, but I don't have an office. I don't have a desk. I cannot accommodate you in air conditioning, whatever it is, because of space, and I have to really maximize use, of the place at all, And so, yeah, but I mean, I know exactly, I don't need to put a list. I know exactly what I've done, what we have done, what my business has assisted, the many, from young people to sporting organizations, name it.
And over the years, you would have made use of the advancements in technology. You would have bought the right tools for the trade.
Well, yes. I mean, in that field of sign business, you need machinery, and every now and then, you have to look to upgrade. You have to look to get a new equipment. When you're changing, let's say the old equipment goes bad, you have to look towards getting new equipment. And one thing I will not, my technician on the job knows that I will not save $1 and buy cheap equipment just because I know I can save money there. Because in the long run, you save money, but you think you're saving money by buying a cheaper price, but in the long run, it does not give you the kind of service. I mean, let me give you an example. If you're in the States in that business and parts go bad, you can call within 24 hours and you have your parts at your front door. But here, if something goes bad, and if you have to wait to order it, it takes you 2 weeks sometimes and your machine is down. When your machine is down, your printers are down, you can't make money. And so when we were looking at getting a new machine, a much bigger machine, and when my technician contacted the suppliers overseas, the machine was with me for some 8-9 years. And when they heard that machine, that equipment printer was still operating, they were amazed. They said, that's not possible. Because up in the States, when something goes bad, okay, we need a new one, we just send and get it. But what I do, and I instill that into my technician, is that every single serviceable part that machine needs, you have to have it in stock in our office. So if it goes bad tomorrow, you can just replace like that, and you don't lose out at all. It costs.
I like that.
It's very costly, but you do not lose time and you do not lose business.
Okay, Nigel, I just want to sway a little from business. I'm not sure if you have a question still on business.
Oh no, we have so much more.
Because we have plenty to cover. So I was just thinking as well, Hussein, you love Kadas, you love Calypso, you love Carnival. Not necessarily in that order. You will tell us about it. Where does this love for this part of our culture come from? Tell us the Kadas story. What inspired you? What injected you, for want of a better term, to fall so deeply in love with this?
Let me say, first of all, normally, if someone loves something, be it music, be it sports, you would think it runs in the family, right? You hear of some families whose brother is a footballer, another sister is a netballer, and those kind of things. But in my family, and when I look back, I cannot track anyone that's involved in music or had a love for music or played instruments or, whatever it is. I grew up, I remember when we used to live in, I think it was Jewel Street. When we moved across to Jewel Street, yes, yeah. And, as a teenager growing up, I used to listen to the radio a lot, and you had a famous Ted Daly. I enjoyed listening to Ted. And Ted and myself became very good friends, And I started hearing that beat, that music, that genre. I didn't understand it at all back then. I never understood a word. But besides the basic, sakafet and those things as a young boy.
But the rhythm was infectious.
But a rhythm, it caught me. It just hit me, and I started listening. Every time Ted was on the radio, I always made sure I listened to it. And I remember clearly a time when Gramax came out with that hit, Woy Mi Deba. I called him once. I said, Ted, you have to replay that song. And when you're playing it, please don't talk. Because I had my little tape recorder with my little mic, and I put it next to the speaker of the radio. and I recorded that song so that
And he granted you that wish?
yeah, I got
Also,
it.
because
Yes.
after that, Ted was because Ted would always say, like he would talk in his songs and he would say, "I'm talking because you're not. I don't want you recording," or something like that.
No,
So-
he did it for me. He
Okay,
did
well,
it for
that's
me.
good, that's
Trust me,
good.
I got it, And as a result, I grew loving music because of that, And then, especially going to Trinidad, I used to travel to Guadeloupe a lot. And my first place of visit as a young boy, and all my money used to go into record shops. I would go to Guadeloupe, I come back with about 10, 15 albums. I go to Trinidad, I come back with about 10, 15 albums also. I just fell in love with music. And then the Calypso also, I fell in love with it. The Kadas music. The only thing I really regretted in the sense that the albums were not readily available to us to buy, because a lot of music that I could not get.
Yeah.
But I have my collection of albums. I remember, God rest his soul, my mother used to tell me, but bro, why don't you sell the albums and make back your money? I say, Mom, there's no monetary value to those albums today, before she passed away. And I collected, I just used to buy music. I had my turntable, I had my little amplifier at my home and everything, and play my music, And as a result, when we used to have our house fetes, when I say house fetes, from school friends, and in the summer we have our summer fetes, I used to carry my turntable and my amplifier, my speakers. I was the one providing music.
Say, DJ Sandman, DJ Brohim.
So I used to play music, as a young boy, and Kadas music grew into me. It afforded me the opportunity as I started listening to it, getting into the music more, and then going to school, you learn French, So I started learning the Creole more. It allowed me. That's why I was able to really understand Creole much better. The music taught me to learn Creole music much better.
Gordon Henderson is on, and I'm sure he's shaking his head and agreeing with what you're saying. I love the fact.
You can learn a language from music.
From music. Music is powerful, lyrics are powerful.
Very, very important.
Oh, yes, I like it.
While I may not speak the Creole so fluently, but the music taught me a lot.
Yes, a lot. Like me, I love French. I just love the French language. And,
and so I started my collection, I started playing my music and my records. I lost one or two along the way, But every time I traveled and I would travel to, it was in Guadeloupe, I used to go to Deb's, record shop. And I remember one day I was looking at a very colorful 45, I said, wow, that caught my eye. I didn't see what it was. And when I looked at it, I saw it as an Exile 145, Diama Creole. Grabbed it one time.
Wow.
And it just kept with me. And then I got together with my good friend Wadix. We were not close in the early days, but because of his affiliation to music also, and knowing that, because also they had that song system, what do you call it? Wadikole. And then my cousins had A&M song system also.
Oh, yes.
So there was that competition, and there was that, not just competition, but a friendly competition, you call it,
Yeah.
And I used to go out with my cousins, playing music for them in the country area. And so the music was in me. It was there.
Wow.
And I used to slip out sometimes in the country area overnight. It was so nice. It afforded me to be out there, with the persons. And it taught me a lot. The country people really appreciated you a lot.
Yes.
And
as you mentioned that, I remember back in the day on a carnival, Monday and Tuesday, Wadikole compatriot and A&M, they would be on as well. But Wadikole would be playing Carnaval La Vive. So just imagine that song being played on carnival and imagine what is being played now. So anyway, that's another story. That's another story. But tell us about as well the carnival. You would have done a lot too in terms of carnival. I think you did street theater as well, right? You came out as
what I used to do was I used to take songs and turn them into humor. And I used to make this huge placard. Like, for example, I would take sour music, because his songs are very humorous, and put songs to pictures, to images, and let people see something. And they used to look forward to it every year. They used to tell me, okay, what next you have, what's next? I remember I did this This was a crazy one. I mean, it always resonates in my mind, you know, where Pat Aaron with Sai had a song. Sai had a song where Pat at, you know, and so I wanted to put images to that, and then I called my designer. I told him, you know, this is what I want. This is my perception of what I'm looking for, you know. So, you know, Pat had his little locks, you know, and everything. So I told him, take a potato with his little roots at the bottom, flip it upside down, and put bandy legs to it, put arms to it, and create an image, you know. I also did this other one about, what's his name? He had this one about Kentucky Fried Chicken, you know. And so my aim was putting images to songs, to words, you know. And people used to really see something different in it. And so that was the part of it where creative-wise, you know, I used to really show images for different songs.
Interesting,
Signs
interesting
again.
concept there. Again, utilizing the
Signs.
whole culture
Yes.
and not the formal structure of it, you know what I mean? But I love that, I love that, man, Brohim. What about Calypso? Every time we see Brohim at the front of the stage,
Yes,
from
sir.
eliminations all the way to finals.
I just loved Calypso music. I loved the social commentary of it, you know. But at the same time, I didn't make it just for going out to Calypso. For me, it was a night out, especially being involved in the tents. Stardom tent and the other tent was the name
Mascam.
Mass Camp, yeah. Every Wednesday, every Friday, I was at both tents, you know, and I gave my support to both of them. And I loved it and I always maintain that if you're a person to enjoy yourself, why do you have to hide? Why do you have to stay in the background? You know, why do you have to be... And that's why person say, oh, well, the camera's always picking you up and, you know... I say, look, that is me. You have to... And I enjoyed Calypso. I enjoyed the effort that the Calypsonians used to put, you know. And one of the main things I enjoyed in Calypso is going to the eliminations. You know, because there you see Calypsonians who sometimes for the only time in their life, they have 5 minutes of fame on a stage. You know, and afterwards you don't see them again. You know, and so I used to try to get Stardom Tent especially to arrange a night.
Okay.
Pluck out about 5, 6, 7, 8 Calypsonians who would not make it after. But they have humorous, very contagious songs that you can enjoy yourself. Because to me, entertainment should not only be serious music. Because, you know, you go to a tent now and you keep hearing the same calypsos every Wednesday, every Friday. But you want something different. You want a bacchanal night. You want something different. You want a humorous. It has never worked. Maybe when I retire, it might happen. I'm not sure.
Well, Nigel, the book is busy. Your sister is very busy on the book as well. Albin White said we need to bring him back next week. We have not touched on Living in Goodwill yet. We have not even touched on his involvement in sports officiating. Maybe we should go there, Nigel.
Yes,
well.
so we have so much to try to cover.
My
I know we don't have,
goodness.
as much time as we'd have liked to have had to cover everything with Brohim, you know, because I wanted to get his take on the current music as it is, you know, current booyah.
Wow.
Yeah, we can get his take on that quickly.
So much we have to cover,
Yes.
you know what I mean? But I mean, as a lover of Kadas, and of course the booyah genre is coming in now. Just general, what's your take on the booyah music, where it's heading, and if you still feel Kadas have a part to play?
Well, Nigel, I always say, I think Dominica is one of the few places in all my travels where, I mean, music evolves, music changes with different generations. Everybody brings in, you know, their different ideas, and I have no problem with that. I mean, I grew up also in the era of booyah music, the days of WCK, Serenade, you know, name it. I have the collections also.
RSB and all that.
RSB, you know, Powell, you know, these guys, we talk, every time we meet, we talk about it, you know. And, you know, you don't expect, for example, Kadas music to be played today in the element it was played 40, 50 years ago, you know. But, you know, I mean, Booyah came along, fine, I loved it, I enjoyed it. It has taken a twist where, I mean, while there's a place for everything, time and place for everything. But generally, especially for our young people growing up, some of the Booyah music has trended to the point where it's very bad for our young people. Not nice at all. Especially the lyrics. We all know that. Doesn't mean that we hate them. Doesn't mean that we don't appreciate what those artists are doing. But at the same time, it is not good for our young people growing up. You know? Is there a place for Kadas music? Sure, why not? It's not like as if, well, okay, this pant is no longer good. I cannot use it, so I have to throw it away. No. Kadas music is what brought us to where we are today. If we didn't have Kadas music, we would not have Booyah music. And persons who don't want to understand that, well, that's their headache. But there's a time and place for everything. And I think that there is still room. And I always believe that our top bands today, live bands, Signal Band, Triple K, there's that new band up in Portsmouth now, Knockers or something, play. I still believe that they can keep the music alive. You don't have to play Kadas music in the raw stages, but you can, the same way they take soca songs, they take American hits and fuse it into their music. Why can't you also take a top hits of Kadas music and fuse it into your music also? Make it part of it. You could give it a different beat. You could fuse it and bring it to suit your style today. So the young people growing up can know what, you know, where our music came from.
Interesting.
If you know what I'm trying to say.
Yes, I love that. I love that idea. I love that. When we're doing the remix, why don't we putting a little Kadas in one of the songs that we have, similar to how we take all the R&Bs
like calypsos as well.
use it for
exactly.
Yes, you know, and the calypsos. I love that concept, Brohim. Yes, it's certainly so. You know,
I mean, music will continue changing. I mean, I appreciate all types of music, but there's, you know, to a certain extent, as I said, the lyrical content of a number of the songs, I personally don't appreciate. And that's my opinion.
Yeah. Nigel,
yes.
let's go to the book quickly, Nigel. Let's see what's happening on the book quickly. Let's spend a little time.
Let's see. A lot has been happening, I can tell you that much, you know. Is that Life Peltier says, what many do not understand, education is a holistic thing that is rooted in culture. Education is a lifestyle, and the lifestyle grows and changes. I love this conversation. Of course, that's when we were talking about how you know, were able to learn a lot of the creoles through music. Alvin Thomas says, yeah, Brohim loves having a good time. DA to the max at a party. His sister Carla was as well. Says they're in the poor, he loves hiking and calypso. You haven't talked about the hiking.
Yeah, we haven't spoken about the hiking and coaching and
yes.
sports. Sports. Carl James Kofi from RSB saying you were cultured by way of the music, like many of us from that era. The music played an important role, you know, in our development back in the day. I know that. I think one of those days we need to have a conversation on that.
So one of those days we have to explore the whole thing of music and its contribution, you know.
Yes, that's why I always love writing poems, you know, it was because of the music. You know, when Lionel Richie would tell you, well, my friends, the time has come to raise the roof and have some fun. And then you go on, listen, you know, reading these lyrics and you say, wow, this is poetic. This is, anyway.
There was that band.
One, yeah.
Let me just give you a little thing about the music also, right?
Of course, saying man, one of our great Dominicans in so many years. So yes, big up to you, Gordon, as well.
Okay, big up. I think Signman was making a point, Nigel. Let's just hear him quickly.
Go ahead.
Yeah, there was this band long before, you know, CK and all them came up, Rooftop Connection. I don't know, Nigel, if you ever heard about them.
Yeah, man, definitely.
All these guys were part of it, and so, you know. Tilly Thomas. Tilly was a main part in the area, and we were all together, you know. And, you know, strange enough, I used to provide them. They used to come to my home, you know, to look at my collection and get music, you know, get music for them to play, you know. We were so involved that we were like one family in that area in Didier Lane, you know. We worked together. We had good time together. We had fun. We were even at one time members of the Steel Pulse fan club.
Hey.
We used to write, you know.
But Nigel,
and
I should have known them, and I would have gone via member of
You
that
have,
club.
you'd have been there. You'd have been part of that.
Still Pulse.
And that's why when Steel Pulse played at the Creole Music Festival, I could not miss them. I could not. Because it brought back old memories.
Yes.
Wow.
And what's that? Live Peltier again is saying fusion is growth, not just the beats, but the lyrics. Can you imagine Signal singing or infusing the song Bachebe or Sukuya and other kadas hits into their thing? I wish Shirley listens. So Shirley and Signal, that's a little vibes throwing out to you right away. See how you can do a little fusion.
And
there
Anita, would like to hear Anita on the yes, man.
Yes.
Well, we have a lot of songs, you know. Let me tell you something. But Nigel, we still have to cover. We still have to cover, as I said, sports officiating, hiking. Boy, there are other things as well.
Yes, and then we almost there. So
boy.
Quickly, Brohim. I mean,
tell me.
Football, refereeing, officiating. How did you get involved in that? Were you one day just sitting in the stands and decide those fellas doing nonsense? I'm gonna try that too.
No. I mean, I enjoy sports. I used to go to the Windsor Park to watch football, you know, as a youngster. As the stock closes, 4 o'clock, bam, my parents knew, my mom knew, head up to the Windsor Park. I used to enjoy playing, like I said, I never played football sports competitively, but like I always used to be in the early morning. I used to go to the Windsor Park. Mano John, you remember him?
Oh yeah.
Right. Coco Shoe, these guys. I used to join them in the Windsor Park, playing, you know, when they used to train as a team, I used to play with them, you know, just for fun and everything. And one day, Coco Show, Robertson Hippolyte, who was a referee at the time, he invited me to become a referee, you know, to ask me if I was interested. You know, I said, okay, what do I have to do, you know? So he invited me to a meeting, and as they say, the rest was history.
Yes, it's history, yeah.
Now, as Coco Show, Robertson Hippolyte invited me and got me in. He saw he resigned, he jumped away.
Wow.
I don't know why. He himself can't. He doesn't want to tell me, but that was it, you know. And so I started developing. I joined at the time when you had top officials, Clayton Monroe, Chaucer Doctorov, Billy Doctorov, Erickson Christopher, Gifford Walsh. So I had senior guys around me that guided me and really led me, you know, on the right path to do things properly. And already I told myself that, well, you're going to get involved in it, so you have to do it. And you have to take it seriously, you know. And so it developed. I became one of the top officials in my era. I have to thank a lot to the guys I named because they brought me along the path. They taught me. I remember my first big game in the Windsor Park. It was, they had this tournament, the Moccasin tournament. And I remember this team from, I think, either St. Lucia or someone was coming to play the Dominica local club. And Chaucer Doctor was the referee, you know. And as we were walking out onto the field, I remember him asking me if I'm okay. I said, well, yeah, you know, I say, look, just think of it. This is no different. Whether it's an international game or it's a local game, the rules and regulations are the same. No difference at all. If you have any butterflies in your stomach, don't be afraid. That's okay.
Wow.
You know? And so from there, my path, you know, I took great pride in learning from them. And it allowed me to become one of the top officials, not just in Dominica, but also in the Caribbean.
But Brohim, you exuded a spirit of professionalism that was just, wow. It was just something else. And where did that come from? Your upbringing, your school days? Where did that really come from? That person that you are today, do you think it ties in a lot to how you were raised? And
well,
where
yes,
you were raised
it was. I mean, I cannot doubt it. I cannot, you know, not speak about it, you know, growing up. Because like I said, and also school days at SMA, you know, you have to be on time. You have to do things properly. You have to be serious in what you're doing, you know. You cannot take things for granted that tomorrow everything will be okay. Everything will be on a plate for you, you know. And so, growing up, you know, I did a lot of things on my own to get myself to where, you know, getting the resources. Because I remember when I applied for a loan, when I started to, you know, I put my papers together to apply for, I had to apply for a loan. I could not get money from anybody at all. I didn't have the resources. So I went to all the banks All of them refused. All of them said no. Finally I went to NDFD, and I applied for a loan. You're talking about 23 years ago, 24 years ago. I applied for a loan of $40,000. And I gave them my projection. I told them that money is XYZ. I'm providing money for my equipment. I'm buying it myself. And I remember NDFD still telling me that, oh, we think it's a risk. I said, wow, so what do you want me to do? I said, okay, I'm going to cut down the application to $20,000. You just give me $20,000. And do you know, Nigel, Ivona, I had to provide security twice that amount for a $20,000 loan, you know? And so it taught me, you know, you have to be prudent in how you're spending, you know, and put that money to good use and make sure you spend it wisely. And I remember there were two persons who had to sign for that loan for me. And I remember I was telling the officer at NDF, let me tell you something. This is no joke at all, right? When I finish pay that loan, I'm going to come back for another loan. What y'all refused to give me the first time to start off, I'm going to come for it. And don't ask me for no person to sign for me. My credibility has to speak for itself. How I pay back my loan, and I made sure every month, first check I wrote is to NDFD. And from there, I can walk into NDF proudly tomorrow and get any loan I want.
Wow. Tell us, that is interesting.
Yes.
There's a lesson by doing that. Let me just go back to the sports officiating as well. Do you have any concerns in reference to what you're seeing these days? Anything bothers you in that area?
Well,
do you think in terms of professionalism it's lacking?
In the field of officiating, which is what I was involved in, I mean, when I look at it, just like anybody else, like the sportsmen and so, there are so many opportunities. Like when in my time, when I was officiating and in times of Billy, you know, Chaucer and even the guys after me, Martin Charles, Carlyle, John Baptist, you know, these guys. The opportunities were not there for us if you were not from a big island. Because you remember back then,
small islanders,
you know? And coming from Dominica, they never looked at you as, well, hey, Dominica has top officials. You know, and I always encounter that. And always from Barbados, Jamaica, Trinidad, these top officials always went to big tournaments. And I remember going to a tournament in Trinidad very quickly, you know, and my assessor was telling me, by that time I was nearing the end of being a FIFA official, because you could only be at that time, you could only be a FIFA official up to the age of, I think, 45 years back then. When you reach 45, no matter how fit you are, how good you are still,
that's it.
You cannot be an international referee again. And I remember this gentleman tell me, well, you know, Brohim, you know, we're looking at you, you know, because we're looking at you. That's when they were going to bring on the professional officials, you know, that they focus strictly on officiating. And I watched him and I told him, are you serious? In my old age, in my last 2 years, all the time you're looking at me? He laughed.
Wow.
I said, well, if I was from Trinidad, all you would have put me up on that international this long time, you know? And so the small islanders back then suffered a lot. Today, there's so much opportunities for them that if they're serious, they can go on to big tournaments. I mean, I'm not saying they'll go to the World Cup, because it might be difficult. But there are a lot of regional tournaments and international tournaments.
Yeah.
I never got the opportunity to go beyond the Caribbean. I more did games within the Caribbean. But when I did games, traveled to games in the Caribbean, God rest his soul, the late Patrick John spoke highly of me, and, you know, overseas. I was fully respected. You know, I remember quickly, this commissioner from St. Kitts, I was doing a tournament in St. Lucia or St. Vincent, and I had with me, as a fellow referee, the top official from Trinidad. And man, I was on par with him on whatever he did, I did better. And one time this commissioner criticized me for something. Man, he made me feel like I didn't belong there. But my fellow assistant officials put him in his place and corrected him, you know. But yet, the same official from St. Kitts the following 2 years called me up to come to St. Kitts to do their finals in football every year.
You see? Okay, so when you're in the end, Nigel, but it would be remiss of me though, Brohim, not to ask you that question. Or let me just make a statement before I ask. You like to Duive so much that you co-founded a Duive club. Where did that love for hiking, come from?
Well,
but then again, you mentioned that I used to take part in
cross
Belmarche and things like that back in the day.
Yeah, as
cross
young,
country.
When you were young.
But tell us about that love, that deep passion.
If you know Dr. Bernard Wilshire, and he had this organization, I can't remember the name of it. But every August...
yes, he had this organization.
Yeah, every August, they used to organize a Negmawa hike to different trails that the Negmawas, the escaped slaves, had made in the country areas. And every August, he organized a hike to go to a different area. And some friends invited me one day, hello, why don't you come with us, let's go, And so I started this hike once a year. Once a year, it was every August. And I fell in love with it. I really enjoyed the nature outside there. And some other friends of mine, we got together and we couldn't wait for that one time every year in August. And so we got together and like Nigel said, we used to really do Duive. Honestly, we used to do Duive. We used to cut trails, we used to find trails, we used to make trails. We used to carry our little red tags that for us not to get lost. So if we go in one place and we have to come back, we know how we're coming back. We used to carry our cutlasses and find our way through. And so people used to tell us, but all the time, Duive, all you always Duive every Saturday. Because back then we used to, every other Saturday we would just get up and get together. And it was persons like Rollins Bruni, who was one of the main guys back then. There are other names, but I just can't bring them out. And so we used to hike. So we started hiking out every 3 months. We organized a hike to go to different places. And then we didn't have a name as yet. We didn't have T-shirts as yet. We didn't have nothing at all. And then afterwards, we did it every month because we found that waiting every 3 months was too far. And so the club started bringing people. We started making friends. And I can easily say and speak for everybody else. And before I go, I must mention that the people that we know each other in the club is because of hiking. 99% of the friends I have in the club is because of hiking. And as a result, well, probably maybe I don't know if I should say it now, but I know we're going to end. I have to give big thanks to my hiking family. Big, big, big thanks, because we're a family. We're not just hikers. And my meritorious award came because of them. And I want to mention two persons, especially Linda, Daisy, Jones, and Danielle Marie. Two, I'm going to use the word crooks, because I was not aware of it that they were the ones who nominated me for my hiking club. And they told me once, but Brohim, didn't you see us one day at a hike? We had a paper going around for person to sign. I said, no, I didn't see that at all. They did it so secretly. Because you had to get persons to sign up on the letter to take to the ministry. And so I have to say hats off to my hiking club. Thank you very much.
Wow, what a story, Nigel.
A lot can be said, but
but just quickly, we have just 1 minute. What brings you like peace, or when you're at the top maybe of a mountain? Well, that would bring you peace. So that's not really the question. How do you feel when you maybe at the top of a mountain or looking down? What goes through in terms of your emotions?
Trust me, I feel relieved. I feel away from the pressures, the stresses of being in town, the pressure of business, because persons do not know what it is to operate a business. Being in charge, not operate, but being in charge. You got to pay staff, you got to buy materials, you got to do this. You're away from everything. And when I'm inside there, I just go back to the days where it's like sometimes I tell myself, I probably, if there was a machine that could send me back 50 years, I would love that because I feel so relaxed, and even my fellow hikers, I feel so relaxed being out in the mountains. The beauty of Dominica, I used to think was watching Dominica from the outside. But Nigel, Ivona, when you get into the inside, it's like a person. They say a person may not be beautiful on the outside, but inside their heart, that's where their love is. Dominica is the same way.
Wow, so you get that feeling of utopia. Nigel, I mean, I could go on and on and on with
Oh,
Simon.
yes.
There's so many things that we have not, uncovered, but that's the time.
Time is short.
I really enjoyed. Well, obviously around that time, Christmas time, we have a lot of outside broadcasts. So we had an outside broadcast this morning, which means that we have to start at 9:30. So we have to look at, some time to bring Sandman on, because there's a lot of things that we have not, as I said, we have not even spoken about. But Simon, I really enjoyed this discussion with you. I learned so much. What is Saturday in Lebanese again?
Sabbath.
Sabbath. Okay, I don't know if I can say it well. Did I just say it's Sabbath?
Sabbath. And keep it.
Yeah. No, but we learned so much, and I mean, the book is busy, so when you get a chance, you can, look at the comments and all of that. I just love your story. Very inspiring, very motivating. I mean, when you talk about music and cricket and football and calypso and all of that, business.
And how, I didn't even touch on, let's say, how the family came down to Dominica. So there's a lot.
So yes, we'll have to look at bringing you on next time. Next week as well, Nigel, I think there's another outside broadcast, and we may start at 10 o'clock next week.
Well, I will not be available
yes,
until...
well, we understand that. We will make arrangements with you for another time.
No, because the hiking club is going on a cruise next week.
I will look it. Nigel will have to join the hiking club.
Yes, they're going to cruise outside of Nature Island. It's nice.
We're taking a break from the local,
Okay.
From the local one.
Yes.
Yes, but definitely, Brohim, we appreciate you sharing your story, connecting with us, and the journey. We have other things we didn't uncover as always. The family side of things and so on, what's up for Brohim and everything else. But we appreciate you coming and connect with us. I know that you are part of the CTD family because you do listen to us on a Saturday, and so we appreciate that
Definitely.
as well. And continue connecting with us. And, as we leave, what do you think about this particular program, Connecting the Dots? What's your views on that?
It's great. It's great. I won't say that I always wanted to be on it. Because I can only say I'm finally on it.
Yes,
according to Ivona.
Something.
Because
my bad,
I remember Ivona many times you tell me,
Boy,
well, when you're on a
many years ago.
When you're on a hike, I'm going to call you live and talk to you,
And I never,
But I understand those things.
Yeah,
I understand those things. It's a very good program. It opens up many avenues for people to hear the life stories of persons, what they've gone through. Because especially in today's life, what you have to do to survive and succeed, and how serious you have to take things is something. All what I've learned in life, I pass on to my staff. I told them that you have to be serious. Whatever you have to do. You may not be working for me all your life. You may decide tomorrow you're going to migrate. And migration is a very serious thing, Living in America, living in England, Guadeloupe, wherever it is. You can't say, well, hey, Granny, send me some figure, Granny, send me some dash of food. No, you have to work for it overseas, Because I had that one opportunity in the early 80s, being in the States for a while. I learned what it is to live on your own, So there's a lot.
Yes,
there's a lot. So
this
program is a great program.
Thank you so much, and let me thank you for joining us. I have a feeling you'll come back again. Of course, we'll invite you again, and I would really like us to connect with Signman when he's on a hike or something. So he have his people around.
Well, you can always plan. It's always the first Saturday.
Okay.
The first Saturday of every
so
month.
Nigel, he'll have his people around him, and we can speak to one or two of them.
And we can speak to them
we
while
can
they're
get
hiking on
that
there.
vibes.
Beautiful.
Yeah, man. Yeah, of course. So let's make that happen. Thank you so much, and all the best to you, Signman. Man.
Thank you.
Keep persevering.
Thank you, Nigel.
More success in your
Thanks,
endeavors.
man. Thanks. We connect again.
Yeah,
all right.
all the best.
Okay, so that's it. Nigel, we'll do it again next week. As I say, it may be
We'll
10.
do it
It
again
may be
next week
9:30.
again,
It
my
may
dear.
be 10. Yeah?
All right, cool. No worries.
Okay.
We'll connect.
All right then.